Alright, hello all. Welcome back to the Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video here. So we're going to be continuing on, taking a look at LR EZA Dokkan Fest Vegeta Trunks. This character so far has been absolutely insane. I mean, with their support, both from the 18 key, where they're stacking themselves and allies, as well as the 30% down here has actually been very crazy too. I have found they've been just like an insane defensive wall. They build up to start actually doing pretty decent damage, I'd say. Like, this character looks very, very crazy. I've been having a lot of fun with them. I need to test them some more. Right, I'm trying to test all the characters the best I can. It's certain things like I don't have my own HGL Gogeta or physical Omegas has made it a little difficult to fully judge how I think about every character, but I gotta say, I mean, from the limited amount I've seen of Vegeta Trunks so far, I do think they're definitely top 5 level. I do think so. I mean, whether or not they actually are or not, I don't know, but they're in that range. I think honestly they could maybe even be like top 3 or something. I don't know. I mean, they looked very crazy. And to be fair, it was only in Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku, but I'm just like judging off the stats they had, right? They do well in other fights, I think. The thing I really need to see after the showcase after this one for them, I think I'll go into like the Rose Zamasu fight, and we'll see how they do there. Because the thing is, it's that fight is obviously very difficult. I think it's the hardest fight in the game. It has the locking, right? And the way this character is sort of balanced, I think, in my opinion, is they are a god in slot 1, right? I mean, when you consider this, but they somewhat require being in slot 1, you know? So it's like, it's a little, I'm not sure exactly. I do need to see them without that, but I mean, some of the numbers they were building up to, honestly, as long as, they're getting their supers in first, I feel like they do fine in other slots too. So I really do need to test all that. But regardless, I mean, we're gonna focus on this stage for now. We're jumping into one of these battle hard and formidable foe. I do like stage 9. It's pretty difficult, I do think. Just sort of change up the content a little bit, and then we'll jump in against Rose Zamasu with this team next, I think. So let's jump in. We'll see how it goes either way. Okay, well, where's Vegeta and Trunks? Second rotation. That's not horrible. I mean, obviously I'd prefer them immediately, but it's fine. Whatever.
Sorry for the wait, Kakarot. Ready when you are, Vegeta.
Now the big thing, I suppose one of the big things rather, with Vegeta Trunks is just what the insane amount of buff they give to their allies. Like, my Vegeta Blue in the showcase I did, and mind you, this was in like more or less, it was 3 or 4 times of them stacking, right? So we're talking like a 15-20% buff overall. I got him up to like 290k defense start of turn. So is that like, well, I think there might have been another like active, like the Vegeta future whatever saga support active. So while it's not like an insane increase, it just goes to show. I mean, it does actually have real value, their support. I mean, it's only 5%. They can only do it once per turn. But it does actually end up stacking up to being like actually a real big contender, and how these fights will go. I do think so. Especially because it's hitting everyone, even if they're not on the rotation, right? And that's just like the craziest part of it. I do think it'd actually be like a valid strategy, and I might even do it when I jump in against or as a Zamasu, I don't know. To just say the hell with it using a 220 team. You might as well just use 2 Vegeta Trunkses. You know, one of them stacking each turn. Now, certainly the stats at the start will be lower for everyone, but I mean, after you have a couple of turns of stacking, because you got to think, I mean, when you're talking percentages, the more of the percentage you have, the less getting more of it actually is worth something.
It's about time I got a chance to fight. It's pretty obvious you're not going to defeat him by yourself.
Oh, what? Their intro didn't play. Why didn't their intro play? No, that definitely... That's weird. Whatever. I mean, it's not a big deal, I suppose. Although it is a showcase for them. Should I really... I don't know why I didn't play. Here, let me honestly... I'll, do that. We'll jump right back in. I'll get the intro for them in here. Might as well.
Trunks, you think this is the end? Think about the next. Or think about your pride. Saiyan blood flows in your veins. If you're my son, as you claim, then I won't tolerate you losing to anyone. I will get stronger. Stronger than the enemy. And stronger than you.
Okay, there we go. I mean, it is their showcase, so I wanted to make sure to get that in. But yeah, as I was saying, you gotta think, the more, cause we already, it's still a 200% lead, right? So the more you have of a percentage increase, the less it's actually going to matter. What more so matters is getting numbers in phases that don't already have something, right? So, for example, you know, for Vegeta and Trunks, right? They're stacking once per turn, and they stack 20% for themselves, and then they stack 5% for themselves and allies. So they get 125% stack per turn, right? If suddenly, and this would be really better in like a longer fight, maybe. So maybe I won't do it here in that fight. Maybe it'll be like the boss rush for the Shadow Dragon fight. I haven't gone against that yet. I don't know what the missions are. Maybe I'll do it in there, you know, because getting that extra 5%, and really for your allies getting 10%, or I suppose rather getting 5% every turn instead of 5% every other turn, will actually, especially for those that aren't stacking, be very huge, you know, for like the tag blues, for example. Well, I mean, they greatly stack attack once on the 18 key, but I think you get what I mean. Like, they don't stack defense, they don't really consistently stack attack. And for something like, you know, EZA LR Vegeta here, or like Tech Vegito, I mean, they don't stack defense at the beginning, right? Or if you look at like the gods and the Super Saiyan 4s, if you want to look at it from another angle, right? How they are really insane. You know, they do stack a lot, right? They have the big phase 1 percentages. However, neither of them have any phase 2 defense whatsoever. So when you consider Vegeta and Trunks having their just absolutely massive, you know, phase 2 30% support when they're activating their active skill, or when attacking with 24 key, I mean, that's a true 30% raise to these guys. So it's just, I'm thinking like, while they're a defensive guy, right? They do, although not at the start, and it's also maybe a little bit based off of actives, right? but they can start to do decent damage, relatively speaking. While being a defensive god, you know, and just making all of the best units in the game even stronger. Like, that's why I like Omega so much, really. You know, it's like, because I've said, you know, Omega and Gogeta, I think, are both very insane. I do think probably Gogeta might be the best character in the game from what I've used of him, from what I've seen of him. And that's a limited amount, but at least it's actually a more faithful viewing than as with like Omega, because although even then it's not like fully, because the thing with Gogeta is how he wins the fight is he wants everyone around, everyone in the team, you know, to lend him their power, right? Just to juice them up, you know, through the attack, through the defense, just any bit of support really skyrockets what Gogeta's going to be doing. Right, so that's how he's insane. That's how he wins you the fight. From just being, you give him a little bit of support and he fucking like one-shots the boss while being an immortal, right? Whereas Omega, he makes everyone else, you know, maybe they're a little weaker initially on their own, but suddenly Omega comes in and he gives them a fuck ton of defensive support, a fuck ton of offensive support, and, you know, suddenly they look like some of the best defensive and offensive characters in the game. So, whereas Gogeta, everyone needs to lend them their power, so he can just be like really insane. Omega lends everyone else his power, so they can be really insane, while also being really decent himself. So it's interesting because, I mean, they're certainly more of they're like a superclass version of Omega, essentially. And I mean, sure, we have someone like even on the team here. I mean, EZA LR Vegeta. I mean, lest we forget about, oh, that's the wrong thing. My bad. I'm not forgetting at all about his active skill phase. I mean, I love this active. You know, it's so insane. So I mean, he was our sort of Omega for the superclass, but honestly now it's Vegeta and Trunks, and I think personally, and it's just like my playstyle sort of thing, I like that a lot more. So I don't know, I don't know what my top, you know, 10, 15, whatever it's gonna look like. I think obviously though it would change rapidly from so 15.1. What I had it as in like part 1. I do think obviously a lot of things have changed. You know, especially considering like, you know, we do have the other, well, I mean, we don't have all of the hard fights, but we do have other hard fights, and it does appear so far, at least in the fights that I've done. I haven't done like the Gogeta clone fight. I haven't done the what's the fight? The Shadow Dragon boss rush. I haven't done that. I don't think that Twitter fight is out yet. I may be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure it's not out yet. So we do have other hard content available right now, other hard content coming soon, right? But currently, Goku Black and Zamasu is still the most difficult fight in the game. So I think that might give us a better glance at how to truly like rate characters. You know, because maybe, and I don't know if this was the case, but maybe before, for example, I was giving more of a highlight to, you know, a character that could be really defensive. You know, I had like AGL UI as one of the top characters in the game. It was on the lower end of the top 10, but I had him up there because of just, he's immortal turn 1. It's short content, right? And I mean, he has the revive, right? Like, AGL UI is probably modern Dokkan's, because I mean, even before he EZA, you could still run him. By the way, at least I still ran him, you know. But he's got to be like the modern Dokkan version of the best aging character in the game. I think the second most modern Dokkan aging, whatever, best aging character in the game. Probably AGL Bulma, honestly. I still get away with using her. Her design is just so good, especially now that we have fights where we can, get like attack, defense, lowering. If you get her 7 orbs, I mean, she has that guaranteed additional super where she is attack lowering. So with all the other Dragon Ball characters providing the support, like she's actually, a very good option still, which is very crazy to me, but I mean, she actually is. So I don't know. It's just a wild landscape we're in, essentially. But yeah, I do need to make another list. I want to make another list. I wanted to use Omega first, but I think what I'll do is I did just get done doing a GT boss showcase in this fight. I think what I'll probably do, and I'm not like 100% certain on this, but what I'll probably end up doing. Why is our... Oh, I see. Jesus. I was gonna say, why is our stats so low? I always forget he has that. I think what I'll probably end up doing, though, what I start to say several times, is I'll try and use him against the... I'm trying to get as many of these showcases out as possible. I was still planning on doing like individually Super EZA, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Vegeta showcases. I did realize, I wasn't even thinking about it, I did sort of have both of them in the EZA Gogeta video. I mean, they kind of defeats the purpose of having their own separate one. I mean, they weren't the highlight, but I did actually showcase them both, even in that fight, even though it wasn't the highlight. So I probably won't keep doing like showcase videos for them. But I do want to make sure I have a better understanding of all the characters that are like currently available, and try and get them all done. And then after I get done with all the showcases in a way I'm satisfied with, I think then I will make my top 15. I think, and I said this in the video, and what I'll probably do, because I don't want to have to, I spent, I think, like the first 10-15 minutes of that video just explaining, okay, what's this? What are we going to take here? Now, they do still have their 60% damage reduction, so, yeah, I figured. And insane. Because, I mean, he's not lowered at all, And we just took it, so definitely very nice, and they're hitting 30.2. They're so good, honestly. I'm so impressed with them. But yeah, I did spend like the first 10-15 minutes, whatever it was, just explaining all my sort of biases, what I thought of like the hard fights, all that sort of stuff. I might do a more streamlined version of that for this next one, I don't know, or I might just say, hey, listen, I do know I have certain everyone's gonna have their own biases, whether or not they're going to admit it. I mean, it's only natural, it's only human, right? It's like, if you say you don't have your biases, like, it's just like, you're just lying, alright? You're not fooling anybody, right? Everyone has certain playstyles they're gonna like more or less. Like, for example, I've gotten to the point, and this, in part 1, I did have Rose as the best character in the game. I don't think it's the case anymore, right? But, I did have him there, right? And part of that was, I explained, I've gotten to the point where I'm starting to get tired of dodge characters. There are certain dodge characters, like AGL UI, who still are very insane. But for me, I feel like I just get so unlucky with the fuckers so much recently that it's like Tag Blues actually I've been pretty lucky with, although they have an 80% chance to dodge, so and it's not. Of course they're gonna look pretty good. But I've been so unlucky with them that I've started to get a little tired of them, to be honest.
Here we are. Relax. I'm sure we'll find a way. We always do. Sure, except for all the times we died.
Okay, I might as well just get like the Vegeta Blue active in here, right? I might as well. Let me do it. Alright, there we go. Now we just have EGL Broly left. We got this. But yeah, I just... Considering everything with the game right now, I don't know. I'd need to sit down. I'm not the best at just like listing it off. Plus, if I do plan on doing it, like I did say, you know, I think Gogeta probably is number one. I don't want to like lock that in 100%, but from what I've seen of him, you know, what I've used him, I do think so. But I don't want to like spoil everything, right? So I'm not gonna talk too much more about that. But I do still plan on doing it. It's just it might be in a couple of days. It might be at the end of the celebration. I'm not quite confident just yet, but I will do it. So just putting it out there. I haven't forgotten. I'm just trying my best to manage to pull either. You know, right now I'm focusing on Omega, but trying, you know, with the banners to actually pull the character. That way I can, you know, like pity Gogeta, and then that way I'll have the best look at them. But I mean, it's not going too well, you know. Quite honestly, it's not going too well. So I'm not at this point. I don't know if I'm gonna even be able to get both of them. So I'm not. I think I might as well just like make the list with the experience I got, and then, you know, at the end of the day, it's more of a thing for fun for me, right? So it's not, if it's not like the most accurate, I mean, it's not the biggest deal to me. I more or less though, I think it'll be what I think. So I'm really looking forward to that. We'll see how it goes. Okay, and we'll probably. No, you're not doing damage, Broly. Yeah, it's just like they're so insane. They're going to constantly not take any damage. They do start to build up too, although not at the beginning. Do decent damage. And the amount of support, I think it's only 5%, but also for like the tag blues, right? It is very insane, because obviously Goku isn't getting, you know, defense unless it's on the 12th. Now he does get the guaranteed 12th key, to be fair, but still. Or like Vegeta Blue, who's not stacking at all. Like it does a lot for his counters, for example. So they definitely cooked with this EZA. I don't know if they might be the best EZA ever, honestly. It's possible. I don't know. I need to test them out a lot more. And what I mean by that is just like, I feel like they've kind of perfectly captured their role from 2022. You know, it's like they damn near never left. Like they somehow managed to stay in the environment. I mean, before obviously they weren't really supporting. Well, I mean, with the active skill, but you know, that's kind of, even now I'd say that's kind of hard to get. Because if we take a look at their condition, right? It's when all allies are Future Saga, starting from the 3rd turn from the start of battle, or HP 50% or less starting from the 5th turn from the start of battle, once only. So, I mean, if you're running full Future, sure, I guess, but, I mean, who's really running full Future, you know? So, it's kind of difficult, even now, to get that condition. So, they gave them other ways to support, and I've had so much fun with them, you know, what they've done for everyone, because it has genuinely saved me. Now, admittedly, it was like Vegeta Blue, right, in the Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku fight, but they did actually save me with their stacks. So they are very valuable. It's not. They definitely got to build up, and in a shorter fight like this, it is going to have a little bit of shine to it, but it's not. It's harder to tell, obviously, in a shorter fight, right? So, I think they're insane, though. I mean, Dokkan, masterclass. We haven't even, you know, gotten to see them in this fight. I suppose, rather, in this video. I haven't been able to get Vegeta up just yet. I'll be able to do that this turn, though. Well, actually, no, I lied. It's turn 2. I should probably be able to get him out, though, before the fight's over. I think. I could be wrong, because I don't know. I might have to use like the actives over here, considering we're about to go against EZA Broly, and I mean, if those AoEs, right, they can be very deadly, obviously. But I don't know. They're so crazy. They work really well with Vegeta. You know, I've actually found usage for Vegeta now, because they hold down slot 1 perfectly. Right, they're one of, if not straight up, the best slot 1 in the game. And they get support from one of the new LRs that is a very good offensive character when, you know, they're tagged. And very good defensive, honestly. You know, he has the damage reduction, the dodge, and with his active, he actually has guard as well. So Vegeta's actually very good too, especially with getting support from them. I don't know. It's just this team. It's like so wild, you know. They're 1,041,000. Did they get all their hits in? I feel like we're starting a little lower here. I don't know how many times they actually got hit. I probably should have been paying a better attention to that, honestly. Have they been hit 3 times? Because I feel like they should be, you know, a decent bit higher if they have. Or are there 3 times? No, I guess they have. 1,041,000, huh? It's actually the lowest I've seen them at. Okay, they took a little bit damage from Broly there. Because usually I see them at more in the, oh, well, you know what? I suppose, actually, this makes sense. I'm also used to having, like, Vegeta Blue on the rotation. I'd been floating him, right? So his support, his 40% support to allies is not actually up for them right now. So that's what was throwing me off. That makes sense. Okay, well, hopefully we should be able to finish with them on the turn. I don't know. We're kind of in a bit of an interesting spot at this point. I need to use the Vegeta active, 100%. Okay, now with that, I think I'll go back to Goku. I'm worried about if I don't have Vegeta Blue right here. I do need him to super first. And even then, it's kind of dicey. What to do? I feel like I gotta risk it. Let me just do that. And then let me go into Gods to be safe.
This is a power greater than that of a Super Saiyan God! I'm going to have fun destroying you!
Now, Vegito does have, and it's not a lot, right? But I mean, he does have 10%, you know, stacks from Vegeta. Ah, goddamn it. Of course it's the first super, huh? He was dead either way. Damn. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have, you know, he still would have died to that, you know, it was the AoE. So there's nothing I could have done. Oh well. Okay, well, that was not the best. Vegeta and Trunks did actually look really good, but you know the thing is with shorter fight, I mean they are a character that needs to stack up. We didn't even get to see Vegeta alongside them, you know. But I mean, I suppose that is the thing with this. I did want to see them in like a really short fight, but because even like the special battle fights would probably end up being longer. I suppose it depends on the team you bring on them, to be fair, but more or less, I feel like they'd even be longer than like a battle hardened foe stage. But I did actually want to try them in a shorter contest setting, and they were still doing really insane, by the way. And I mean, Vegeta Blue ate that for what was it, 4.2 or something like that. It was something for some odd mil. And just like thinking about this logically, right? They with the extra stack, right? They would have been over 1.1 mil defense, and with Vegeta's active, then we would have gotten the other Vegeta up, right? His 70% support, which does a lot for them, and then his active skill, right? So I mean, they would have had an additional 50% active skill phase. They didn't have the turn before. They would have had their 50% damage reduction and guard. So just like thinking about all that, like honestly, they probably would have just double digit tanked the super. I'm pretty confident about that, which is essentially what I wanted to see. Like in a normal sort of setup for them, how they would do against a shorter content fight that is pretty difficult. And I think I did accomplish that, more or less. So I think I'll probably end this here. I mean, once again, I would have wanted to see them against that, but also it's a matter of I'm very confident they would have tanked. If I go back in, I mean, is Vegeta Blue gonna tank? I should probably switch up my team a little bit before I go against like Rose Zamasu, huh? Because that's the next stage I'll be jumping into. That's where I really want to see. We'll be jumping a lot with that fight, but I think I'll end this here. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Take care.